Droners, it has occurred. It has happened. We are officially out here though. I couldn't be happier to be announcing this. I can't even speak right now. I'm so excited. The Part 107 is official. Commercial drone use is happening. We all knew it was gonna happen. We all hoped it was gonna happen like this happening with the 107. And the FAA finally released it, June 21st, 2016. It went down. This is when things got real for commercial drone pilots. So what is this 107 rule? Well, the 107 rule is the guidelines as well as the registration requirements for pilots to be able to become commercial pilots of drones. It's perfect. It's the framework that is needed for us commercial pilots to be able to make a living off of using drones for commercial use, as well as providing safe guidelines for us to be able to stay within the law, keep everyone safe, and still make that money though. Why did we need this 107 law? Well, it's because our current laws don't make any damn sense. The 333 exemption requires that you have a pilot's license, requires you go through this registration process that takes almost a year, that doesn't even have any background checks or anything. They just like check your paperwork and say, okay, you can do it, and they take forever to do it. And it makes no sense to have such a high bar for you to reach to be able to be a commercial pilot. The 107 is basically bringing drone law almost up to speed with drone technology. So what is the 107 changing? Starting in August, this will go into effect where you will be able to get an airman certificate to be able to fly commercially. And it's gonna be a lot like getting a driver's license, which we all know almost everybody has, and it's very reasonable to get. And that's a big deal for commercial drone licenses because the 333 exemption made it almost impossible to get a license. So that's the biggest change, is that it'll be widely available to most people who take the time to go to the testing center and get it. Now, I mentioned a testing center. There's going to be, it looks like, a written test that you'll have to pass, as well as a TSA background check. Those two things are gonna be basically the requirements that you have to go through. The FAA is looking out for you, as well as the general public's health and safety. So all these rules are really just addressing safety concerns and allowing you to be able to make money off your drone. So here are the specific rules that you need to know that are gonna be coming out with the 107. Operators have to be at least 16 years of age or older, which seems kind of young, but awesome. The drone has to stay directly in eye line of the pilot in command. The drone cannot fly over anybody that's not involved in the shoot, period. They're only allowed to fly during daylight. The drone, if you ever see any kind of aircraft that is manned anywhere near your drone, you have to give right away, AKA land, or get out of their way as soon as you can. First-person view goggles can be used, but only if you have a direct line of sight spotter for you next to you that is going to take command of being the person keeping your eye on the drone. The max ground speed is 100 miles per hour that you can ever travel with one of these drones, which for camera operators and agriculture and pretty much everybody, even drone racers, should be fine. The max altitude for the drone will be 400 feet, same as recreational use, but you can't exceed that with a special permission or if you're inside of a structure that exceeds 400 feet in height. There'll be no piloting for moving vehicles unless it's in a sparsely populated area. You can fly from boats as long as it's over water. You can never fly from another aircraft. That is never going to be allowed. The weather laws are that you have to have a minimum visibility of at least 3 miles. If you do not have a visibility of 3 miles, regardless of where you're flying, then you're not allowed to fly at all. Operations in classes B, C, D, and E airspaces, which are all different levels of airspace, basically like, oh look, this is this kind of airport and that kind of airport. FAA regulates those. Just use the Hover app. It'll tell you everything you need to know about the airspaces. But you're not allowed to operate in those spaces without getting permission from the airport. Transportation of materials that still allow the aircraft to be under 55 pounds altogether is completely allowed. But the pilot in command, no matter what, still has to have eye line of the drone, even if it's delivering packages, which is not legal. You're not allowed to operate UAV if you have any kind of knowledge of mental illness or sickness that you shouldn't be able to fly. Are there a lot of rules? Yes, but there's a lot of rules for us driving our cars. There's a lot of rules for us doing everything that we do, and this is specifically for people making money off of drones. So they should be held responsible for their actions, and they still should have a guideline of how they can, what they can work within. So this is overall, to me, a good thing and a great step in the right direction. Droners, thank you again for joining us on this wonderful day of awesomeness. And I couldn't appreciate anything more than that, as well as you making sure you look at more videos like this right over here, because I'll be able to tell you more about the drone laws and everything you need to know about that, as well as just me playing with some cool drones. You can click here for that. It'll be f***ing awesome. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. And as always, make sure you are hooking a brother up by subscribing and do your thing and stay fly.